Speaking. Participant number 119, Christina Polali. Attaching the microphone. If you get called up, you might want to be wearing a sweater with a pocket that you can put the microphone in.
I remember what it feels like to be confused, what it felt, what it was like when confusion struck. And then, as I grew older, I started to remember what it felt like to be sure. And as time went by, I started to realize that maybe when I was sure of everything, I was missing something that was actually essential. When I was sure that I would be able to do something, when I was sure that I was going to pass the finals, and I wasn't lost in a bit of confusion, I wasn't actually living what I was supposed to be living. And so, when we go through life, we sometimes think that it's good to know everything, to know what's going on, to know everything around us, and to be sure of what we're going to do. But in real life, sometimes it's nice to have that sort of confused look on your face, because it shows a little bit of character. It shows that there's something more to you than just being sure of everything around you. It shows that there's something that's there. Those furrowed eyebrows on someone's face, when you look at them, it means something. And so last year, when I was in the Panhellenic Tournament, and I didn't go to the finals in Impromptu, I was confused. I thought that I had done something wrong. But it was through this confusion that I was actually able to make it here today. And sometimes, it's not that just confusion is great and the confusion is what we have to do in order to show character. But sometimes, it's that confusion that actually allows us to go places. And it's not just me that realized this, but I think that we all sort of realize this when we discover that sometimes we're not sure of something, and that makes us try even harder. Sometimes it's that little step that we need to push a bit harder, to go a bit further, and actually make our goals and make reality what we want it to be. Because when you're sure of everything and you're not confused, and you know exactly what you want, sometimes it's not fun anymore. It's not fun to be sure. Sometimes it's nice to be uncertain, to be a bit confused when it comes to you. And so, ladies and gentlemen, when you go home today and you're sure that you should do this or you should do that, start thinking of, maybe I shouldn't. Use that confusion at some points when you don't get what you want, when you don't do what you want, and use it to your advantage. And look at it through another way. Don't be always sure, because it's that confusion that actually allows you to go places, to do things, and to actually be who you want to be at the end of the day. Thank you.
And the topic was confusion. The second finalist in Impromptu Speaking is number 27, Arietta Valnas.
afternoon, everybody. Throughout life, in the beginning, during childhood, you always hear all these songs about happiness. And it always kind of judges what you should be like, what you should feel like. For example, Beatles come up with The Yellow Submarine. And there's all these different songs. For example, if you're happy, you know it, clap your hands. And this kind of tells little children what to do when they're happy, what to do and how to feel. And this is also reflected in later on life. All these songs about love in teenage years, in adolescenthood. And it makes you feel kind of insignificant. It makes you feel like you don't really have a point in life. For example, if you're not feeling these emotions that are presented in these songs, then you're doing something wrong. For example, if you don't have a boyfriend or if you don't have a girlfriend, then all of a sudden you're doing something wrong. You're not fitting in, and you feel rather bad. You hear all these great quotes and songs with lyrics and emotions, and you think to yourself, why am I not feeling that? Am I doing something wrong? Why am I the outcast in this society? You feel really, really bad about yourself. And you kind of had admiration at the same time for the people who wrote these songs. For example, Adele with this famous Someone Like You. You think, wow, she's amazing. She has so much talent. Why can't I be like her? Why is my love life not like her? Then later on in adulthood, it's all these songs about parenting and basically songs that control your life. And ladies and gentlemen, I pose the question to you today. Should you really let these songs affect you? No matter how great and everything seems in these songs, they're only showing you one side of the story. One side to attract people, to want to make you listen. But is it the entire truth? Is everything all fun and games? Is everything fairy tales? Is everything perfect? No, it's not. So, ladies and gentlemen, whenever you hear these songs on the radio, whenever you hear these quotes and sayings that make life seem so beautiful and pure and great and perfect, take a minute to think about this and think to yourselves, well, that's not true. Just because my life isn't perfect, just because my life isn't completely relevant to these songs, doesn't mean that it's the wrong type of life. Doesn't mean that I'm the wrong type of person. Doesn't mean that I don't fit in. Just because I'm different, just because I can't relate exactly to these songs or to these lyrics, doesn't mean that I'm not perfect in my own way. Ladies and gentlemen, we have been letting society, throughout these years, control our lives. Whether it's in childhood, as I mentioned, or in teen years, throughout these songs that make you feel so insignificant. Why do we let this happen to us? Why do we just go along with everything? Ladies and gentlemen, it's time that we step back and think about what we do. Say, we're not like everybody else. We shouldn't just let every little thing affect us, because we're all special in our own way. And just because someone feels this way doesn't mean that we should as well. These songs, although they may seem absolutely great and amazing, as I said before, it's only showing one side of the picture that they want to show you. Doesn't necessarily mean that it's the entire truth. Ladies and gentlemen, it's really time to take a stand for yourself. Stop listening to all these songs. Of course you can like them and you can admire the people who wrote them, but stop thinking that it's supposed to control your life, because truly you're who you are, and that shouldn't be reflected by the songs that you listen to. Thank you.
And the topic was, why are there so many songs about ... The next participant is number 179, Francesco Lovato from St. Catharines.
Ladies and gentlemen, at the end of today, these curtains will close and the show will be over. Because what is, after all of our aims in life? Our aims in life is for when the curtains to close, for us to know that we have left the mark, for us to know that our show was the best show we could have done. And this is why we're all here, after all. Because do you all ask yourselves, why am I doing forensics? Why have I come here to parade in front of judges and to show people what I can be worth? Well, the answer is because we all want to leave a mark. Because our first and principal aim in life, what we want of our life, is to be remembered. And this is what drives us all in life. And this is because what if we are, after all, is we all are somewhat lonely. And we all feel that all the people around us, once we're gone, will not necessarily remember us. And will not necessarily want to think about us after we're gone. And after our show is over. And that's why our aim in life is always to give the best show that we can. And that's why we regret not managing to give the best show. And that's why we have regrets in life. But ladies and gentlemen, we shouldn't. And why should we have regrets in life? Because it's the regrets in life that stop us from having made the best show we could when the curtains have closed. Because ladies and gentlemen, when we look back, we have to say, that was the best show I could have done. Because the past is the past. And all we can do is look into the future. All we can do is say, well, this time, maybe I haven't managed, but next forensics, I will break into the final. And this is what I'm telling you today. Because even though the curtains have closed this time, they haven't closed forever. And every time we will have a chance to leave our mark, and to be the best, and to be remembered. Because that's what we want to do. And that's our aim in life, ladies and gentlemen. We all want to be remembered, and we will manage to. Thank you.
And the topic was curtains. The next contestant is number 123, John Taniski.
I still remember the first day I walked into impromptu practice a couple of years back. I remember that I was fascinated by the diversity of opinions and the different things that people could come up with their different with the same word. I remember how this inspiration that different people had based on different topics, and they said many times on the same topics, and this diversity that it actually caused and the things that they made the audience think of was something that just amazed me, and it's actually what got me interested in impromptu. As I started getting better at it, because I started being able to substantiate my thoughts more clearly and actually elaborate more on them, I realized that after a while, this inspiration and this diversity, this essence of what impromptu actually is many times lost and many times set into a second rate due to the fact that after a while, you've done so many topics that no matter what the topic that pops up in your head is, you're going to revert back to the same deeper meaning, back to the same point as you have in some previous impromptu. And I think that this is a shame because what we all actually do, what all impromptu speakers do, ask anyone in this room, is actually that we think about our topics beforehand, and many times we've done them, and we lose this source of inspiration. We miss the point of what impromptu is supposed to be. We actually miss out on this inspiration, and therefore we miss out on the diversity because we've all heard some awesome impromptu that some other guy did, and we don't want to diversify from that because we think that that's something that's amazing. But it's not just with impromptu, ladies and gentlemen. It's actually what we do many times in our everyday lives, what teachers many times do themselves. You hear about this one teacher who's an amazing English teacher, for example, and has this amazing new crazy method of PowerPoint presentations or whatever. And many times what you're going to do is you're going to mimic that. What you're going to do is actually you're going to copy what's effective and what's good. And you're not going to diversify, you're not going to go for the diversity and for the inspiration of actually doing something yourself. But this isn't always bad. Many times, things that are effective, things that are actually good and you see that they work, are things that you should copy, things that you should actually put into yourself. And many times, we can actually even say that losing this diversity is not all that much a bad thing. But when do we draw the line, ladies and gentlemen? I think we should draw the line in impromptu. Because impromptu is the one place where you can come up and you talk about anything you want, and you talk about yourself, and you can talk about your own diverse opinion, which has nothing to do with what anyone else could have thought of previously. It's the one time when you can be free, ladies and gentlemen. So, since I have to have a point, since that is one of the standard rules of impromptu, my point is probably that you should choose when to opt for diversity and when to opt for effectiveness. Because only then will you truly be uniquely effective. Thank you very much.
And the topic was diversity. The next participant is number 295, Nicoletta Alexakova from Oratory.
Ladies and gentlemen, I still remember the first day I ever went to middle school. It was a terrible experience because I had just changed school. And I remember walking into the classroom and thinking, oh my God, are these the people I'm going to be conversing with for the next 6 years? But now I'm in my second to last year of school, and I can't imagine ever not having gone to this school. I can visualize my commencement, and I'm pretty sure I actually know that I'm going to be crying. However, I still try to abide by the saying, don't cry because it's over, smile because it happened. Ladies and gentlemen, this saying also has to do with expectations. We come to do something. For example, we go to school, we start college, we actually come to forensics with some expectations, which are either fulfilled or not fulfilled. In this case, once again, to quote forensics, as most speakers have done before me, I've come to forensics with certain expectations this year. And I have loved it, and I've understood that forensics is everything it's cracked up to be. And forensics is going to be over today. But although sad as I may be that it will be over, I'm trying not to cry, quote unquote, because it's over. Because there are so many more things in life than forensics. Forensics and every other event that we might be attending is such a small part of what we're going to do eventually that it's actually not worth crying about. What is worth crying about is nothing, essentially, because there's always something in front of us. There's always something that is going to happen that we don't even know about yet. There's all the people that we haven't met. There's all the things that we haven't done. For example, 2 weeks ago, I was at a Model UN conference, and most of the people there were seniors, and they're going to be leaving next year, and there was so much crying, literally. However, I tried to tell them, I started crying too because it was so emotional, but I tried to tell them that they shouldn't cry because it's over. They should actually smile because it happened. It was their last UN conference, and now they're going to be moving on and going to college and doing things they never imagined they would ever do. So life is out there, and life is waiting for us, and we should grasp it instead of staying back and thinking about the little things that we enjoyed or we didn't enjoy. So ladies and gentlemen, if I have to take something out of today, and if I have to tell you something about today's and about this day and about the 3 past days that during which we've all been together, I'm going to tell you that you shouldn't cry because it happened. Shouldn't cry because it's over, but you should smile because it happened.
And the topic, don't cry because it's over, smile because it happened. The next contestant is number 252, Natalie Korambanis from ACL.
lives, we always make mistakes. Now, the thing is that when we make mistakes, we have to be able to recognize that we have to accept our mistakes and that we're not going to deny them. And that we're not going to turn around and say, I didn't do this, but I didn't do that, and just denying every single little factor because we believe that we are always right. Now, this happens in our personal life all the time when we deny certain things. This happens all the time in economies, and this happens all the time in our daily lives, which we'll be explaining. Now, personal denial. This I have experienced on a first-hand basis, I find. I always thought, like, when I'm fighting with my little brother all the time, it's always like, yeah, but Mom, he did this and he did that, and you want to know something? It's not my fault because it was him, it wasn't me. But in reality, what did I do? I provoked my little brother. I did it. I mean, look, I bugged him, I was tweaking him, I wasn't leaving him alone, and I kept denying the fact that I actually was bothering him. And we do this all the time, A, because we don't want to get into trouble, obviously, and we always think that we're always right. Sometimes we are afraid to accept our mistakes because we believe we're scared of not being right. And this is not something, it's not a good characteristic that we should have, because I believe, personally, that we have to learn from our mistakes, and we shouldn't deny them, and we shouldn't just keep saying all the time that I didn't do this and I didn't do that. We should accept self-criticism all the time because it improves us as human beings. Furthermore, this happens as we have seen in our lovely country, denying certain things. Every single time we're all pointing fingers at why we are in this economic crisis. Everybody's pointing fingers at the Prime Minister, at the members of Parliament, and we're all saying, like, you did this, you did that. But people don't understand their mistakes sometimes, and they keep denying what they have done. They haven't recognized the fact that maybe they haven't accepted a receipt at a certain point, that maybe they have tax evaded, that maybe they have lied, that maybe they have done certain unmoral things that they aren't willing to accept because they all the time think that they are right. And personally, ladies and gentlemen, I don't believe that we as a society can actually evolve if we keep denying all our mistakes and we keep denying everything that we do. We just have to accept self-criticism, and we have to become better human beings by not denying certain things. So ladies and gentlemen, what have I come up here and spoken to you about today? I have shown you how denial works in our personal lives, and I have shown you how it works in our economy these days. And this is why we need to accept our mistakes and not deny them. Thank you very much.
And the topic was denial. There are several honorable mentions for impromptu speaking. Number 177, Memos Katis from St. Catharines. Number 178, Tanya Sheehan from St. Catharines. Number 203, Julia Altaya from Pierce. Number 267, Rachel Todd from Duet. Number 272, Nick Zervoudis from Number 233, Komninos John Plows from Pierce. And number 247, Catalina Holland from ACS. I'd like to thank our judges, Ms. Karayani, Mr. Strati,